Hi, this is Susan Jubert from Sleepy Creek Farm. I'm going to share a little bit more about the rabbit hemorrhagic disease today, but first I want to encourage everybody who's been following these blogs to like it on the YouTube link and to leave comments and questions there. I would like to start addressing people's questions about RHD-V2 with what they want to know relating to their experience or concerns about this outbreak. So please put your comments on the YouTube link where these videos are actually posted, not on the Facebook links. So today we're going to do just a little bit of talking about how big of a threat is RHD-V2 to our rabbits, especially those of us here in Oregon who are just navigating the outbreak for the first time. So first of all, I want to let you know that the sky is not falling, okay? We see Chicken Little here going, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the world is ending, and that's how people are tending to react to this outbreak. But the truth is, it's not everywhere yet. It's not all over our native populations of wild rabbits, and it's not directly impacting the majority of people who are breeding and raising rabbits either as a pet, a hobby, or for other reasons. So the outbreaks across the U.S. have basically been intermittent. They've been repeated in certain areas where the RHD-V2 has become prevalent in the native populations. The native lagomorphs, cottontails, jackrabbits, hares, pika are most heavily impacted, and potentially areas that have feral European rabbits as well. There is a high mortality when it strikes, which is what is terrifying about this disease to most of us who love rabbits. 80% of rabbits who are exposed will become symptomatic, and 90% of those who become symptomatic are going to die. So that's the reason why we're all so concerned about this right now. But it's not marching across the US like wildfire, consuming everything in its wake. A brief look at the timeline. Last March in 2020, the New Mexico was the original reports and outbreaks there. There were a lot of rabbitries impacted at that time because people simply did not know it was there. Same with Arizona and Nevada. Following that, in eastern Texas and in Colorado, there were outbreaks in April of 2020. Then it found its way into Southern California in 2020. That it has remained prevalent in New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and California. It found its way into Utah, where it remains prevalent, and then last winter it found its way up into Wyoming. There is a single outbreak in Florida that looks like it has resolved. That was in December. It's found its way into Montana this winter, also just recently Idaho, Oregon, and Arkansas. It is spreading, but it's not marching across this line, consuming every single rabbit in its wake. And as people are aware that this is out there, we can take measures to protect our rabbits. And there's been many successful rabbitries right in the middle of these outbreaks who are managing to keep their herds protected and safe. It looks like it actually originated in Mexico. It's ongoing out there. They're increasing their reporting, and it has been spreading about the same rate throughout Mexico as it is through the United States of America. How this is spread is direct contact. It is not airborne. So a rabbit has to ingest the virus particles, the virus proteins. It can be spread in contaminated soil, feed products, and water. So if feed products like hay is being harvested in an area that has a prevalent outbreak where native species of rabbits that are infected have been foraging or passing feces and contaminating that feed, it could potentially get to your rabbits. The biggest concern with us who raise rabbits domestically is that it can travel on fomites such as clothing, hands, vehicles, car tires, shoes, equipment, and in droppings of infected rabbits or animals that have been feeding on infected rabbits. The biggest spread of RHD-V2 that they found in European studies is through vectors. The infected rabbits are the primary route of transmission, and then the birds of prey as they migrate from their winter grounds where they have been feeding on rabbits that are dead, especially the condors and the buzzards who eat carrion, and other birds of prey who might be eating live rabbits that are dead. They migrate and spread up into their northern grounds in the spring and summertime, dropping feces, and that virus lives dormant in the feces of these birds of prey, can get onto the ground where other rabbits are foraging, and they can ingest it that way. In areas where there's active outbreaks, scavengers scavenging on the carcasses can spread that virus around as well, through just picking it up on their bodies and physically moving it, or through passing it out in their feces, and again it gets into the rabbits that way. Biting insects who are feeding on dead rabbits or even live rabbits that are infected, and then go and bite or feed on or land on feed products of non-infected rabbits can spread it. So these last couple things are biggest concerns in areas where there are active outbreaks. In Oregon right now, so far we're limited to the Portland metro area as an active outbreak. So most of us raising rabbits are still in that safe zone. Just a few quick facts. The incubation to death, it's generally rules of 3, 3, and 3. 3 days between exposure and symptoms, 3 days of symptoms, followed by death within 3 days. So most rabbits who are directly exposed to RHDV2 are going to be dead within 9 to 12 days of being exposed. It goes that quickly. Generally speaking, if you quarantine a rabbit, let's say you've been to a rabbit show or purchased a rabbit, etc., if you put them in a deep quarantine for 2 weeks and they have not developed any symptoms of RHDV2, you're pretty safe to assume that that rabbit is not carrying it, because it kills almost all the rabbits who have it. The frustrating part is the persistence in the environment. In the laboratory setting, 105 days at room temperature, 225 days at 39 degrees. It can be boiled for over an hour and still persist, and it can handle heat-cold cycles. In reality, through the temperature fluctuations in most environments, it's safe to say that 90 days is the period. In the Southwest, for rabbitries that have been impacted by RHDV2, some of the state veterinarians have said, okay, everything that is still alive, you don't have to destroy all your herd, but you're on lockdown for 90 days until after the symptoms of the last symptomatic pet rabbit have passed. In some areas, they've actually been ordered to destroy all of their rabbits. They can keep their equipment, but it has to be 90 days before any other rabbits can go to that property, etc. So that's kind of the general buffer zone there. Trying to keep this short and sweet. I'm not going to add much more to today. There are endless conversations and probably hours and hours that we can discuss this. Right now, today in Oregon, the state vet has only authorized permits to import vaccine in the counties which are directly impacted by RHDV2 outbreaks. I know this is very frustrating for myself and a lot of breeders who are wanting to be proactive and stay ahead of this disease as much as we can. Unfortunately, we are not entitled to the vaccine. It is difficult to obtain. It's only available in limited quantities because it's manufactured overseas and it takes a long time to get here. So for now, sit tight, don't panic, practice biosecurity, don't be moving rabbits around unless they're going to slaughter, and even that, you know, just be mindful. Take care of your property, and please report any suspicious rabbit deaths that aren't explained, especially ones where rabbits have bleeding through the nose or any signs of rabbit deaths that can't be chalked up to other things that commonly occur. So that's all for now. Thank you very much.